You know, someone the other day brought up the point that, it's like almost impossible for a family to get into a home these days. The way the market is, it's just absolutely impossible to get in. And you know what? I thought about that question and I agree. The average household income and where prices are, it's just, for most families, it is impossible to get their dream home or really get into a home. But it made me reflect on my childhood. I mean, looking at where I grew up and where my parents grew up and my aunts and uncles and grandparents, not everyone had a brand new kitchen. Not everyone didn't have the latest appliance or the newest flooring, or really it was, whatever the house we moved into, that's what you had for the next 20 years. Not everybody was upgrading and do it yourself. It's just, I think the class of properties that people want these days are those higher price points where they want to start in the market, where maybe being more open-minded and looking into a property that has just the yard that you want or the location of the city you want to be in, and move into it. Let the kids run around, let them bang out the floors. You don't need the latest kitchen, you don't need the newest appliances, and just live in the home and live within your means. And I think that's a big difference between the buyers these days that I'm working with. Hey, I might be saying something controversial here or whatever. Everybody wants everything done. Nobody wants to put the sweat equity in. And I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people don't. I mean, to be honest, the first house I bought probably should have been condemned. And I had so much fun renovating it with my brothers, my mom, my family. They came and helped out. I had the money. I literally bought the kitchen that I had in my first place from Habitat for Humanity. I made a deal with them. It came with a stove and I cut it up and it looked amazing. And I just put the most effort I could into the money where I thought it was best spent. And where I couldn't afford to do the renos, I left them as it is. And it was a great experience. And for me, that helped fund a down payment for my next purchase. And that's another topic too, is, getting a starter home, starting from the bottom or starting way below where you wanted to build that down payment for the proceeds of that sale to go towards your next purchase price, which is probably going to be in your dream neighborhood. All I know is that sometimes we need to bring our expectations down when we're purchasing our first home or moving regardless. Don't be so caught up on the trends that are happening every day, and just live within your means and spend the money where you need to spend it when you need to. Have an emergency fund, and then you can purchase a property maybe within your desirable area if it's hard to get in there, and then take the time to renovate over the years. This sounds stupid, but there's a saying that goes, everything happens for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I heard that saying and I'm like, in my real estate career, I swear I have found properties that were meant to find that buyer. And I truly believe that some houses happen for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. You'll know when you find that perfect place. I think the hardest thing in real estate is talking with people and knowing how to handle situations. It's a very emotional industry. It doesn't matter where your clients are coming from. A lot of the time, unfortunately, it's divorces, breakups, family deaths. It is what it is, what you're dealing with, and emotions run high. And people are so attached to their property. Sentimental value is so big. I remember this one time, I was selling this property, and this Italian family was selling the property. And, it had the oak cabinets and this beautiful porcelain floors, but they were from about 20 years ago and it was dated. And I did not want to tell him that he might want to consider painting these oak cabinets. But, he was so sentimentally attached to them because him and his son built them, and the porcelain was from Italy. And, it didn't really matter in the day because it was dated in most people's eyes. And to him, it was perfection. Having to break the news to him wasn't easy. But at the end of the day, we needed to get the property sold and it needed to get moved. So having those hard conversations with people, and even when it's touchy and sensitive, is super important because you're actually looking out for them at the end of the day instead of worrying about their emotions or how they're going to feel about something. If you're gonna be selling your house, you gotta be open-minded. One of the problems I have with selling very custom properties is the fact that that person built their dream. They built this dream. They have their dream cabinets, their dream floors, everything. And usually when it's that custom, it's so unique that it has to take that certain buyer to see their same dream. And a lot of the time, by the time they come along, 20 years has passed and it's not only not their dream, it's all completely updated. I'll give you a good example is my mom and dad's house. They built this colonial style house, and you know what? They got the dark floors, heavy colors, wood everywhere, and everyone that goes in there says, hey, this needs to be brightened up, these walls need to be ripped out, and this all needs to be updated. But they built their dream. So talking with sellers that have built their dream is honestly one of the hardest things because I'm tearing down their dream, and it's not easy for me to say this to them, but at the end of the day, it's easier to sell a dream that is to the masses than to one particular person.